Hey everybody, it's your boy Pretty Tone. Now listen, I know you guys are patiently waiting for that season finale, but you gotta wait till next week, so stay tuned. Guarantee it's gonna be epic. But anyways, we have a surprise for y'all. Because we love all our fans and supporters, this week what we did was we did an interview. Now the interview was done by a wonderful blogger. Her name is Pilar, Arsenec. It's a pretty dope interview. And what it just gives an insight on the 848 crew, how we got started, things like that. And don't forget to stay tuned, because after the interview, I have a special trailer for the 13th episode. So without further ado, let's get into that interview. You guys can watch it, because I'm about to watch it myself. Let's do it.
Xavier, Jordan.
Money and murder, money and murder, money and murder. Man, that's all we ever heard of, nigga. Money and murder, money and murder, money and murder. Man, it's like the Cosa Nostra. It's that 848, 848, 848. Ooh, money and murder.
Can everyone introduce themselves and share where you're from?
I'm Ty Benga, I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
I'm 25 from the Bronx.
Egypt from the Bronx, but I reside in Harlem.
Benny Bricks, the Bronx. Edenwald.
Nettie, Edenwald, the Bronx, Sheriff.
Pretty Tone, born and raised in the Bronx.
Wait, stop it.
Before 848, did everyone know each other?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't know better.
Well, they didn't know me. I only knew
we
I got
Cash.
introduced to them, the rest of the cast, the first day we filmed. I knew Itch for quite some time.
So, what's the inspiration behind 848? How did it come about?
848 was created after watching a few shows on TV. I was watching the hit show Power, produced by 50 Cent. Also watched Empire. And then I also watched another web series called Money and Violence. And the combination of those three is what inspired me to do 848. I approached it on the same platform as the web series Money and Violence. I wanted the grittiness from the TV show Power. I needed that edge. And I wanted the viewer reaction from Empire, which was every week, I can't wait to another episode, I can't wait to another episode. And people were so excited. The buzz was crazy, the talk for it was just wild, it was crazy out there. So I wanted to get that same feel that the director had with Empire, with 848.
Nice. You're an author, and can you tell us about the books that you have and how long you've been in the game and the correlation between your books and film in regards to you?
First started writing in 2003. My first book that I published was Flower's Bed. Flower's Bed is a bestseller. I also have a sequel to Flower's Bed called Black Roses. I have another book called No Regrets, another book called Unwilling to Suffer, and I have a two-part anthology called That Gangsta Shit, Volume 1 and Volume 2.
Okay, how do you feel about the comparisons with other web series and when the critics give you a positive review or a poor or negative review?
I take the comparisons to the other web series out there as a compliment. I actually enjoy the other web series. I always watch them. I watch them for entertainment and enjoyment, as well as I learn from some of the stuff that they do. I try to figure out if that's something we should do or shouldn't do, just to make our show better and our show different from the other ones that are out there. But we, coming into this project, we knew, based on the platform, which was YouTube, that we were going to deliver it to the viewers. We knew that we would be compared to some of the other series that are out there. And we just took it with a grain of salt. It's all good. The goal was, though, to separate ourselves from the other ones, from all of the other ones that are out there, and for us to stand alone. As far as the critics, whether they're saying it's good or bad, I take what everybody say as criticism. I appreciate all of the compliments. I also appreciate when people critique it and tell us that something is poor, whether it be poor acting or poor production or if it looks fake. We honestly haven't heard a lot of that, but people who do come to us and they share their opinions, that's all it is an opinion.
Yeah.
But if I can capitalize off that opinion and make our future episodes better based on their opinions, then that's what we do. We take everything and we turn it into a positive.
Excellent. So how long has 848 been in production? How often do you guys get together to film? And with the understanding that you guys have full-time jobs?
848, I started writing 848 in January of 2015. And I think we filmed the first episode in February. And we would get together. I'm currently residing out of town in Maryland. Everybody else here lives in New York, and we only film in New York. We filmed one episode, which was episode 8 in Baltimore, partially in Baltimore. So I have to travel. So whenever it's convenient for me to travel, that's when I come up and I do, either my scenes or an episode. When the fellas when they have some leisure or downtime, they film whatever they can also at their convenience. So I guess right now, we've been in production approximately 7 months.
7 months. Betty, you're the writer, and you wrote the screenplay, and you mentioned earlier that you wrote it in your phone. How long did it take you? How long does it take you? And how long did it take to write episodes? And
well, I would typically take me about, I'd say maybe a day and a half per episode. I would write a scene. A scene would typically take a couple hours because it wasn't just me visualizing and then writing it out. I would visualize it, write it out, and edit it right then and there because I wanted it to sound real and I needed it to correlate to the rest of the story. Stuff that I had already written and the stuff as I'm writing that comes to mind for the future. Also, I had to keep in mind the characters. So, and the landscape, wherever we were going to perform at. I had to take all of that into consideration. So, the average episode can take up to a day and a half to write and be complete. And but I wasn't writing them consistently every day. It depends on once I got that feel to write, that inspiration, and then I just go ahead.
Pretty, you're the director and editor. What's the hardest part of filming and editing? And for those that are watching and learning, briefly explain the process from saying action to notifying the viewers when you guys are going to load it to YouTube.
I think the hardest part of it is actually composing the scenes into an actual episode. I deal with a wonderful cast, so it's easy to actually do the scenes. We're all personal friends, so we're comfortable with each other. But just actually composing it into an episode is what's the hardest part because I have to put all of the scenes together, make the scenes make sense to the episode. I have to add voiceovers, I have to add music, transitions from one scene to the next. So all of those things are real time consuming. And being that I do have a full-time job, sometimes it is a bit challenging, but after eight episodes in, I think I've seemed to overcome that challenge.
Why are episodes between 20 to 30 minutes? Sometimes it's like 15 minutes recorded. Can you describe why some of the scene, the episodes are shorter?
Well, it's really hard to anticipate time when you're actually writing an episode out. Dialogues could be really long, but when you actually shoot the scene, it could be really short. So we just try to make sure that we keep the same consistency in time, but when the episodes are written, they're not written really lengthy. So that's why the episodes are like 20 to 25 minutes each.
Does YouTube give you a limit of how long an episode can be?
Well, I believe, depending on your count and how it's set up, you get about 30 minutes.
Okay, that's interesting. How does 848 separate itself from the other web series shows out there?
We have a similar concept to everything else that's out there. Underground, inner city, hood, gangster. But I think after sitting down with the cast, the one thing that we figured that would allow us to stand out is that we will kill somebody every episode. And for the episodes that we didn't kill anyone, we will make up for it in other episodes and kill more than one person. So that's pretty much it. We just kill somebody all the time.
Okay.
That makes it different, okay.
Oh, and I would like to add to that. Not only do we kill someone each episode, we try to add special effects to it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of shows that you watch, you know, which are cool, there's nothing wrong with it, but they don't really focus on the actual kill. You know, you see someone shoot a gun and then someone fall. What makes us different from that is that we try to add special effects, blood splatter, just the drama behind the shot and not just someone randomly pointing and shooting.
I noticed that. That's really very nice.
And then we try to also be creative with the actual kill. You know, there's not everybody dies the same, you know, in the series.
It's very realistic.
So, you know, no one gets killed in an animation.
Egypt.
Yes.
How does it feel working with these amazing gentlemen?
It's wonderful. I feel comfortable. It's fun. They make me feel, you know, it doesn't even feel like we're working. It's like a family.
Yeah, I see that dynamic between you all. It's
These are my
lovely.
brothers from another mother.
Is everyone anything at all like the characters you portray, or is it totally acting?
Well, I can speak for myself. My character is a little bit embellished from my actual life. I'm not a murderer. I'm a lover, not a fighter. So I'm not that violent. I am smooth. On our fan page, I have a particular person that calls me Mr. Smooth. You know, I'm just a gentleman. You know. But I'll let the rest of the cast answer the question as well.
I think we all can identify a part of ourselves in our character. I mean, I hope the character comes across very authentic, and that should be a sign that the character we're playing actually stems from somewhere inside of us, or even a part of our life from the past. We just, me and myself personally, I'm just reaching back a little bit, so maybe my not so smarter days or not well behaved days, and I'm getting that guy to come out whenever we film, and then when we say cut, I put him right back into I lock him up. You can't have him outside running the street reckless like that. We don't need that.
That's good.
I'm totally opposite from my character. I'm not a violent person. I'm very calm and collective. But I mean, I can kind of relate to it.
Yeah.
Growing up in South Bronx.
Oh, interesting. Anybody else?
Well, people used to say back in the day that why are you laughing? I mean, like I said, people used to say back in the days I used to have an anger management problem. You know, they say because I'm shook or whatever the case may be. But you know, like doing this experience, it's really fun. I mean, being who I am in this character, I'm doing things that I couldn't really do back then. And it's like, I'm really enjoying it, especially with my co-workers, you know, like they make it so much easier. Trust me when I say it's so much easier doing it, because a lot of people can't get in front of the camera and do it. Like they get nervous, they'll forget their lines. But like I said, I'm definitely enjoying myself and the character that I'm playing. I love it. I love Tupac. Like I love him already. You know what I'm saying? So it's good though. I'm enjoying it though.
Awesome. What about you, Ben?
As for Benny's character, I think one of the personalities that he has is having a leadership role, and naturally being like that. So in my private life, I've always been like alpha male kind of person. always been in charge of whatever situation I've been in. So I would say digging deep within me, the aggressive side of Benny, I can absolutely relate to. Not a terrible person or anything, but it's easy to get into the role of Benny.
Interesting.
Maybe. I don't know. I can relate to my character a lot, but basically I just tell them I'm from Edenville. You feel what I'm saying? So that pretty much sums it up.
Yeah.
So I do relate to my character. In the show I'm called Nitty, in the streets I'm called Nitty. Only difference is I ain't killing everybody like how I kill an 848.
Cool. So, has anyone felt uncomfortable about doing a particular scene? I think you were speaking.
Benny's character in episode 4, when he gets shot, some people will feel like that's like taboo, or jinxing yourself, or bad luck. But I wanted to, just like the way I write my stories, my books, the idea is to get the viewer or reader, make them become attached to the main character or fall in love with that main character. And what you do is you want to bring that character into a situation that it seems like it brings that character to a low point, where the viewers or the readers, they feel the same pain that the character is portraying or experiencing. And I kind of wanted to bring an emotional side to the story at that point, because I believe that most of the viewers had, become to like Benny. And to see something so tragic happen, I wanted the viewers to feel what it's like or react to it and show,
I felt it.
if they were really emotionally attached to the show and the character more specifically. So as an illustration, I was sitting at home watching the episode with my son, my 6-year-old. And I'm noticing that the moment is about to come where my character gets shot. And I'm looking at my son, and he's kind of like moving in the chair, then his eyes start watering because he knew what was going to happen. So he's just sitting there, but he's sliding off his chair, getting closer and closer to me. And as soon as, I guess like the third shot that occurred, it was all in one motion, or one situation, but it was like a 3-part motion or whatever. But when the third shot, when I actually fell to the ground, my son jumped out the chair. He jumped up and hugged me and started crying.
Oh, wow.
So I was telling him, I was like, no, it's all right. It's pretend. You're okay. Daddy's okay. So he wouldn't stop crying. He wouldn't stop holding me. And my wife came downstairs and was like, why did you show him? I told you not to. But to see him, how emotionally attached he was, I could imagine what everybody else felt.
Yeah.
And that was the point that we were trying to reach. So it was cool. It was cool. I felt that Aubrey did, Pretty Tone did a wonderful, amazing job editing it and bringing that situation to real life, or to life as possible on the screen. So I really, I did my, I felt like I performed well. Or Pretty Tone did his thing with the editing.
Did you, when you got shot, was it like eerie? How did it feel doing that scene?
It felt a little strange because I had been in similar situations before and survived. So it kind of brought back memories, and it was. But again, it was acting, so I felt better, more comfortable because it was fake. But being living in a street lifestyle, and I was able to kind of relive the moments from the past. So yeah, it was kind of weird, but I think because it was a positive situation, which overruled everything, that's what allowed me to be able to pull it through. Because we nobody likes to have a gun pointed at them. People might think that it's bad luck or feel uncomfortable. So, most of these scenes take several takes. But I pulled it off. I did it. We did our thing.
Yeah. Egypt?
Yes.
Issues regarding sexual assault, was it something that you could relate to from personal experiences?
Yes. I can totally relate. When I was little, I got molested by my stepfather.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And it took some time before I decided to speak up and tell somebody because I was, scared and frightened as a child. But I finally eventually did.
That took a lot of courage. There's a lot of women that go through similar situations. Were you okay addressing the issue?
Yeah, I was fine addressing the issue. I'm more comfortable speaking about it now that I'm older.
And do you think that society needs to talk more about this topic?
Yes, I think so because a lot of times, a lot of people are getting molested, especially young girls. And usually it's someone that's in the family or close to the family that's doing it.
Yes.
I think they need to speak up.
Women shouldn't feel afraid. They should come out.
Because you're 9 times out of 10 you're not alone. Somebody else is going through it.
I totally agree with you. So, how much revenue are you guys making off of YouTube?
Oh man.
Zero.
Zero.
Not a cent.
Do you have any big donators?
None.
The cast.
To cover the props and the clothing and all of these things?
Well, it's all internally financed. We anything that we want to add to the show, we actually go by ourselves.
Wow.
It's a commitment.
So,
But if people want to donate, they still.
I'm about to go make a GoFundMe page for us.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have the misconception that because we're being televised or viewed on YouTube, and there's a lot of misconceptions or misunderstandings of how people can earn money via YouTube.
yeah, that's true.
I'm sure there's ways, but what we're doing now, we're not earning a dime. Some of us are actually exhausting all of our savings
Wow.
to invest in this. Myself, I travel every weekend when I come up here, and it's very expensive. But this is something that I'm dedicated and committed to, and I believe that it's a positive situation, and that something good is going to come out of it. So I don't mind sacrificing now, to be able to have something greater later.
That's awesome. Really awesome. Benny, for aspiring writers or screenplay writers, what advice would you give them?
Screenwriters, novelist writers, the advice would be the same. Be original, be passionate, take your time, be patient, there's no rush. You have a lot of writers, I will go with, both authors and screenwriters. People are copycatting off of one another. And when you're delivering something that's already out there, it's not going to be received as well as the original. So you want to come with something different. And there's nothing wrong with being different. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks. Come from your heart, put your best, put your all into it, and just be great at what you do. It's going to be recognized by someone. Do it for yourself first, then you share it with the world. Eventually other people will recognize it, and a lot will enjoy it. Don't worry about those who don't. So in a nutshell, be original, do your best, write your best work all the time, don't copycat, and I think you'll be great from there.
Egypt, for any young ladies out there who are being violated, who have been violated in a sexual manner, and the creep's still out there, especially someone who knows, what advice would you give?
Speak up, tell somebody, don't keep it inside.
2-5.
Yes.
We see you posting pictures at work. So for the minority male of 2015 who believes that they don't have time or can't get a job, and they have a family to feed, or what would you say to somebody that's like working at McDonald's flipping hamburgers?
I honestly would say, do what you have to do. Everybody has a reason to do what they're doing. My reason is my kids and my family. You understand? That's more than enough right there. I honestly believe being through what I have been through, not saying that I've been through the worst, but being through what I have been through, I feel like what I'm doing right now some people wouldn't believe it, but I feel like this is the only option for me right now. Some people are forced to say that, oh, they look at it as instant gratification. That's what's trouble today, right about now. You understand? Like they're so worried about the instant gratification and not being patient. We're being very patient, and sooner or later we're going to get what we need at the end of the day. I'm looking at it right now. I have no choice but to do this. That's my only option, is making sure my family's okay. So as long as they okay, working, doing what I have to do, it's not what I really want to do, but this is something that I have to do. So to the kids out there and to the young men, the older men out there, do what you have to do, but at the end of the day, just make sure that it's worth it though. That's what I look at it, I'm gonna say. Make sure it's worth it.
Oh, it's very admirable.
Thank
It's
you.
great advice.
Thank you.
Nitty, your story of survival and perseverance, with the whole other web series in itself, dealing with the system and being placed under different guardianships, to currently owning your own business before you were 30 years old. What advice would you give to hopeless kids who believe, that are at rock bottom? They're going through hardship, or they're just not in a good place. What would you say?
Honestly, I would just say pretty much don't give up. Like, find something that you can hold on to that'll basically get you to a better place. Meaning, like, for instance, like with me, in every negative situation, there's a positive in it. So I said, check it, look, my life is twisted. I don't want to live like this for the rest of my life. So I took that and just held on to it. So basically, like, I would just say, just don't give up. Don't give up. Just anybody that you want.
How did you find that inner strength to be able to overcome?
It found me, to be honest.
Really?
It found me because I guess it was just in me, period. And it just took a little bit to come out. But once it found me, I liked it. I said, you know what? I don't want to go through this again. At one point in time, like, I was ready to give up. I was ready to hang up. But I just didn't do it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's an incredible story. Very inspiring.
It's life.
Yeah. So, these are questions from viewers. Are the characters based on actual people?
Well, I created the characters. Benny Bricks is actually a character from a story that I published, written by another author. The author's name is Thomas Glover, so I want to give him his props and his shout out. He's an amazing writer.
Cool.
He's based out of Pennsylvania. He used to be signed with my company, Amaya Entertainment. And the story where the Benny Bricks character was created, the story is called Quiet Town. And it's featured in the anthology, That Gangsta Shit Volume 1.
Okay.
It's a really cool story about a group of individuals from New York going to a quiet town in Pennsylvania, assuming that they can take over. Assuming that the people from Pennsylvania were slow or soft or had no knowledge of the streets. But little did they know that these guys were very experienced. And the leader of the Pennsylvania crew, his name was Benny Bricks. And he ultimately wiped out all the guys from New York and pretty much showed the readers that even though it's a quiet town, you can't go up in there and do what you want. So that's where the Benny Bricks character came from. Pretty Tone, knowing Pretty, I wanted to, I guess, associate the created character as much as I could to his real personality. So, because I wanted it also to be a little bit easy for us to perform in the show. So, the idea wasn't to be like super duper gorgeous like the viewers say he is, but It was for him to have a smooth personality, for him to be, pretty cool, and he's obviously doing his thing with it. As far as Nitty, like he said, they also call him Nitty in the streets, and I wanted his character to be aggressive and be an enforcer and security to Benny and the crew, and with the name Nitty being an Italian gangster from back in the days.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Frank Nitty. Frank Nitty used to run with Al Capone. He was his bodyguard.
Cool.
So that's why I gave him the title, because Nitty was the kind of like Benny was Al Capone and Nitty is Frank Nitty. As for Ty Banger, that name was created because his name is Tyrone, and we also call him Ty in the street. The suffix Banger, it kind of describes an aggressive person. It's it's slang for somebody who's out in the street shooting or being a tough guy or whatever. So being that he's the added muscle to support Nitty's character, I combined the name Ty with Banger, and that's where we get Ty Banger from.
Very interesting. I'm not gonna mess with you. So how did you select the cast?
Interesting. Initially, as I'm writing the project, I really had no one in mind initially. I just said I want to create this show, and this and that is going to be what we're going to do. I heard that Pretty was into film and production, so I came to him with the idea. He agreed under one condition.
What?
He said that he has to be a main character.
Oh, good for you.
So I already knew that at some point I was going to incorporate Nitty. I didn't have any idea about the other guys yet. But as I was writing and I'm thinking about more supporting actors and more supporting characters, they immediately came to mind, Ty and 2-5.
Oh, wow.
I initially had 2 other young ladies that were going to be a part of the show. One was going to be Azarel, named Azarel, and there was an original girl that was going to play Egypt. Due to whatever reasons, the other young ladies, the situation didn't work out. We're still cool, but the situation didn't work out with them. And I happened to see Betty on social media, and I expressed, what I was into, what I was doing, and she told me that she thinks she could fit the part. I sent her the script. She came through and performed it. No mistakes. She did her thing. And I said, "You down? You part of the show now."
That's awesome.
So, yeah, and I initially, like watching The Departed, I wanted to kill off the crew. So I was originally going to kill off 2-5 and Ty early on, and I decided, I decided to keep them. I saw how they were working, and I realized that, in order for a strong crew to be successful in the streets and build a successful empire, we need a lot of people. So I kept them on board, and
I remember that message.
Well.
I remember that message. Listen, I decided to keep you for the whole season. I was appreciative.
I didn't even know I was going to die.
I did. I didn't know how to break the news to you.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that. Thanks for telling me on TV.
Someone said that they liked seeing Benny in Be More. Will 848 be taken to the West Coast or the Dirty South?
But we don't know what we're going to do exactly yet, whether we're going to go directly into season 2 or go into the 848 movie, which will portray us, the cast, how we went from nothing to what 848 is now.
Interesting.
In regards to the storyline. So when the show began, we were already drug dealers.
Okay.
But a lot of people want to know, how did we get to that point? So the 848 movie, which I would right now compare to NWA movie.
Oh, really?
It would just show us coming from, the bottom, the streets, having nothing, and pretty much describe how a group of young kids can go from the inner city to being on top of the world.
Wow, that would be really, I'm fascinated. I would love to see that.
And hold on.
Yes.
As far as us traveling,
Yes.
I've gotten requests from several cities for us to go out there, and people will support us. So, the sky's the limit. We don't want to subject ourselves to just New York City or the Bronx, even though the show was initially supposed to cater only to the Bronx. But you know, the world is so big, and we have fans all over the place. So we want to be able to cater to them, and you know, come to their neighborhoods and bring their neighborhoods into the show and into some type of movie or you know, just show what we can do in other cities like we did in Baltimore. I think we did a terrific job down there.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, it was great.
If anybody wants us to come to their town and perform, and they want to be a part of the show, all they have to do is reach out. We're trying to make it happen.
It's awesome. I'm sure young kids and teens watch the show. What advice would you have for the youth who aspire to be like Benny?
Benny's character is one of the worst characters, one of the worst people that you can be, because he's a drug dealer, he kills people. The kids should never want to aspire to be like him. Stay away from him. He's just a character. He's fake. He's a bad guy. And the only thing he'll do is end up in prison or dead. So, no, we shouldn't want to be like that. Especially since I haven't explained why or how Benny got to where he has gotten to. But regardless to that, no one should want to be a drug dealer. No one should want to hurt anybody or kill anybody or rob or steal from anyone. So this show is merely for entertainment, and that's it. So no children out there should want to be like Benny. Go to school, be like a professor, be like the president, President Obama.
And for those that are perhaps living the life of Benny, they have hope too, you know.
Absolutely. I think for those that are now living in Benny's shoes, and in that world, all we feel like is the sky is the limit. In that world, there's just more money to make, more territory to cover, and no one is worrying about the consequences. We're just worrying about the pleasure, the money, the women, the materialistic things. So ultimately, there's only like two endings: jail or dead. And I know a lot of people say, well, everybody's gonna die anyway. But I think we're putting ourselves at risk by being out there, and we're speeding up that process, that opportunity to be killed. So, you know, there's other things. If you're in it, there's still time to get out.
Yeah.
You know, leave it alone. It's bad. Like you have other kids that want to be like that. They follow you, they look up to you because they see all this nice stuff. And no, it's not the right way to go at all. So for those that are out there and they in it, they need to be mindful that somebody else is watching them, and they can be influencing or encouraging someone else to do what it is that they're doing. And everybody's not good at it, so people end up getting hurt quicker than others.
Not everyone could reach to the top.
Absolutely not.
In the game. There's only a few that reach the top, so the rest wind up spending lots of time in prison.
Absolutely. I remember reading a book by a gentleman named Akbar Prey. He's a gentleman out of New Jersey. He has life in prison. And the title of his book is called The Game is Dead. And I remember reading the book. I'm flipping through all of the chapters until I got to the chapter where he asks the question, why is the game dead? And the answer, as far as I was concerned, is simple. You can't trust the people who you're selling it to, nor can you trust the people you're getting it from.
Yeah.
So there's no point in playing anymore. And even when I was thinking about continuing that lifestyle, that was enough for me. That was my answer to God. I personally feel like there's a lot of disarray out there in the street life because there's no leadership, there's no loyalty, there's no understanding of how the game should be played. People are just making up their own rules, and these are people who are ignorant, no knowledge of the streets. They watch a movie or a music video or hear a rap song, and they feel like the stuff that they're hearing or seeing is the real deal, and that's the way to succeed, and it's incorrect, because all that stuff is fake. And in the streets, that's real life, and you can't even predict what's going to happen. So those basic rules that no longer exist is what's leading these people into the craziness that the world where the world is today. I mean, the drugs have changed a lot. There's not as many crackheads as there used to be. Now
No.
people
It's more
selling
heroin.
weed and smoking
Heroin.
weed,
Heroin.
and the weed is still having people killing each other. But it's not even that. It's the moral and the principle and the behavior that the people are displaying that's causing that. No, absolutely no respect anymore. We used to have respect.
Yeah.
There is none anymore.
That old school type.
Yeah, and that was
No
just
foundation.
Yeah.
it's survive at your own on your own. Go out and get in the streets if you want at your own risk. And the snitching is at an all-time high.
Oh yeah.
So people now, they say, I'm gonna go commit a crime, or I'm gonna go do this and engage in drug selling, because when I get arrested, I'm gonna tell on someone, and I'm not gonna do that much time anyway, because that's what everybody else is doing. That's what they believe, and that's crazy. So, anybody who's thinking about going out there in the street, it's not worth it. It was never worth it, but it was different before.
Yeah, now it's worse.
Now it's worse.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For each cast member to answer, what is the one thing that you like most about being part of the show?
Well, for me, my creativity. This is actually my first featured video, movie, web series. So I get to display my creativity, my skills, my talent, and it shows in all of the episodes. A lot of people comment on it and like it, which makes me feel good about it. So that's probably one of the best things. I mean, like I said before, we're not really acting that much because our characters are a little bit of us. So the acting part of it isn't really that impressive to me, for myself, but it's just my creativity and what I'm able to bring to the show is what I enjoy the most.
I would say just be around them.
Yeah, it's like a
Simple as
family.
that. It's a family thing.
Yeah. I sense that.
It's fun and exciting. And you know, we all get to shine a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's a good point.
I think what I like most about the show is the viewer reaction. Initially, that was my goal, to see how people, the same way people reacted to watching shows on major networks. I can't wait till next week, I can't wait till next week. And we did that with episode 1. I can't wait until next week.
Yeah.
So I was good after that, after episode 1.
I like being creative, being able to be around the cast. Like you said, we all family. And the thing I like the most as we go forward is how better we have gotten from one to now.
Yeah, it's true.
Like we see the difference.
Yeah, we definitely
do. For real.
We definitely do.
We have grown. Like we be able to like hop in the scene and take care of it like better than we thought we would. Like if you go from episode 1 to now, we knock scenes out like nothing now.
That's awesome.
And it's like the chemistry is amazing, and I'm happy to be a part of it. I honestly didn't think it would be where it's at now, but I'm glad it is, and I'm glad he included me, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. This A4A shit gonna work.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel like being, to me, this is a different world. When we're doing what we're doing, this is a totally different world. Like sometimes I'll be like, I don't want to leave it. Like honestly, because the love is really strong between us. So I'm saying we argue, you understand, we go through regular problems that everybody else go through that think that we don't go through, but we go through it. But one thing I could tell you, I could call on each and every last one of them and tell them, ask them for advice or whatever the case may be. They're gonna give it to me or to any one of us, whether we like it or not. They're gonna give it to us for real. And I'm glad I'm able to do that.
Okay. So folks, I am very, very grateful for the opportunity to interview all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to seeing more from 848, my favorite web series. Thank you for the opportunity for interviewing all of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Can we ask you a question? Do you have like a blog or anything going on where people can follow you?
Yes. My blog is Ordinary Servant. It's www.ordinaryservant.com. I do more book reviews and other interviews.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask you one question?
Sure.
What do you like about the show?
What do I like about it? Oh my gosh, I like everything about it. I love the characters, I love the storyline, I love the action, I love the special effects, I love the interaction between all of you. I love the writing. I think it's amazing. I'm enjoying it. I think you guys are fantastic. I really do. I mean that. I'm not just saying it because I'm interviewing. I really am saying it from the heart.
Who's your
We
favorite
believe
character?
you. We
What's my
definitely
favorite character?
We definitely believe you. Well, I was gonna ask
I want to ask that
Wait, let's hear this.
question.
I have two.
Okay.
Okay. Don't point your elbows though.
Let's say that's for like.
Look, yeah.
No, that was coming.
We already knew that. We just wanted to confirm that.
Mr. Smooth right there.
I call him Mr. Smooth.
Oh, you call him Mr.
That's-
Smooth.
that's my
Okay, oh, get him.
Yeah, when you put the glasses on, you've been lying.
There you
No, we really appreciate you coming out.
No,
and
we
interviewing
definitely
us.
do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Definitely.
Thank you as well.
Your whole
Thanks.
vibe is.
I love you. I
And
love
we're
you.
happy that you enjoy the show.
I really do. I really do, sincerely.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for the fans for watching.
Yes,
We
we really
appreciate all the love
appreciate
and
the
support.
love that you give us.
Definitely do.
Stay tuned, we got a lot more coming.
Oh, we
Yeah,
most definitely do.
Sir.
Most definitely do.
848, ooh, money and murder.
Everybody start disperse, man.